Hey everyone, we're back again. We have another great Skype interview, and I wanted to introduce you to Mark. Mark has a great before and after. Hi Mark, how are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Doing great.
That's great. You're calling from Texas, and I wanted to call you because I wanted to hear your story, like what happened before you decided to lose weight. And I mean, we're looking at the before picture. Tell me a little bit about what was going on with your weight that led up to.
Well, I have a desk job, so I'm real have been real sedentary, and it's real stressful too. So basically, I just let myself get very out of shape. I was way overweight. My blood pressure was real bad. All my glucose and um, cholesterol, triglycerides, all that was really bad, and I feel like I was probably getting close to diabetic. I couldn't sleep at night, snoring really bad, and I met with a guy last November, about mid-November, at a for a luncheon, and I didn't recognize him. I had worked with him in the past, and he started telling me about how he had lost 55 pounds with the ketosis diet. And I was sitting there having my sushi and my rice, and um, not really liking a lot of what he said. But after that, later I thought about it and started doing research and decided, hey, if I'm going to get healthy, I'm going to have to do something. So the change was obvious in him. So that's when I started looking into low carb and ketosis and decided, hey, I'm going to do this because, um, I want to see my grandkids one day.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. What was your peak weight that you reached at your worst?
I was at 273, and today I'm down 86 and a half pounds.
That's
I,
incredible.
I started November 28th, and since then I've been completely on ketosis. I'm one of those guys that it's either all or nothing. So I hear people saying, "Oh, you can have a cheat day once a month, or you can have a carb day once a week." I'm not that way. If I were, I'm kind of like if I have a cheat day, I'd be afraid I couldn't get back. So I've been in ketosis ever since November 28th. Yes, sir.
Okay. That's significant weight loss. So were you on blood pressure medications at the time?
I My doctor was telling me to get on it, and I was always afraid of blood pressure and diabetes medicines. I was afraid that once I got on it, I wouldn't be able to get off. So I basically just didn't do what he said and went on for several more months. Really not being in good shape. But since then, all my blood pressure is normal. All my glucose, cholesterol, triglycerides are all normal, and losing weight. Somebody asked me what's the negative side of this, and the only thing I can think of is I've had to buy several sets of clothes.
That could be expensive. So it might be a drawback.
Yeah, if my wife is, she's a wizard at finding clearance deals. Other than that, it would be really rough.
It really would. I mean, the price of having to tailor make all the clothes and buy new clothes, I mean, that can get really expensive. It's almost like,
Yeah,
is it really
I
worth it?
have a 3 foot stack of clothes that fall off of me basically, and my wife is scared to death to get rid of it. She's like she saw me gain and lose weight so many times. I've tried so many different diets, and they might can drop some weight for a while, but it'll all come back. And this is nothing like I've ever tried before. I never get hungry. I mean, I get hungry, but I don't stay hungry. That's a big difference. Before I would like starve, and I'm satisfied. Even doing the intermittent fasting is a breeze. And I enjoy the good foods, the veggies and the higher fats and moderate proteins, just like you've taught.
Hey, Mark, question. So that brings up the question I was going to ask you. So the main difference as far as what is making it easier before doing other diets in this one, would you say it's just basically the cravings and hunger? Would that be the big thing?
I don't have cravings like I used to at all. But I enjoy my food, but it's not like I'm, sitting around chomping at the bit because I'm so hungry. I'm just not hungry like I used to be. I enjoy my food a lot more too. Um, I have salads, a big salad every day. I make my own dressing. I follow the recipes that you put out there. I make my own balsamic vinegar dressing with real um, olive oil. Um, Foods are better now.
It's good, isn't it? Yeah, I know. I hear you. Is,
Um, I haven't touched bread or noodles or rice, beans, corn, any of that since November 28th, and I don't miss them.
wow. So that's so cool because trying to do an eating plan on top of hunger and cravings is totally insane. And for those of you that are watching that are new to ketosis, intermittent fasting, ketosis is a type of eating plan that omits a lot of the carbohydrates. But we're still doing a lot of vegetable carbohydrates. We're just omitting the sugar ones. And that way you can drop a hormone called insulin, force your body into fat burning, and when you're burning your own fat, that's what your body is living off of. It's not living off necessarily the dietary food, you're living on your reserve. Thus, you're not going to be so hungry anymore. In fact, you ever get to a point where when you have to eat, you're like, I'm not even hungry, I'm just going to eat because it's time?
Yeah, that I when I'm like that, it takes less. Overall, it takes less food to satisfy me and to make it. Um, I don't find myself longing for food. I don't see myself, reaching out and grabbing something like I used to. And I really noticed that, you know, looking back, how much I would grab for food and not even think about it and just eat something down and just out of habit.
Right. It's so
I don't
common.
need to do that anymore.
That's so awesome. And also, like, when a person starts to eat, then they become hungry because you're spiking the insulin and they're snacking, especially at night. A lot of guys just snack, they graze, and they spike the insulin. Now they're really hungry. So they weren't hungry before, and especially even doing like lean protein and vegetables without the fat, that could be a problem. So give me an example of how many meals do you eat a day?
Um, Really, I just need one, but I do when I get home. Um, I'll have your kale shake, but other than that, I'm good the whole day.
Wow. And then what do you, when you eat a meal, give me an example of what you would eat in that meal.
Oh, I'll have um, a regular dinner plate full of salad, and I'll have spinach and some kale in it, some romaine lettuce, some shredded cheese, some tomatoes, and the the dressing that I make myself, and that's the bulk of my meal. And after that, I'll have maybe a grilled chicken breast.
Wow, that's awesome. And then do you find that when you initially did this, did you have to kind of gradually go into it? Or could you just jump right into one meal a day?
Oh yeah, no, it was it. Some of it too was a learning process. I didn't understand all of it at first. Frankly, when I started, I was really just doing low carb. And then I started doing research, and I got on YouTube, and I put in ketosis, and there was a doctor that was promoting ketosis, and that really got my attention. So, I started watching your videos and learning a huge amount of ways that could help me.
That's
Um,
awesome.
Another thing I wanted to point out is how much energy I have. It's it's really amazing because I'll get up at 4:30 in the morning now, and I'll go in and work out before I go to work, and I can do 7 miles on the elliptical with, and I could just keep going because my energy is just nonstop. The only reason I have to stop is I have to go to work. I run out of time.
Wow, that's awesome. And then, has anyone like that knew you before just go, "What the heck are you doing? You're shrinking."
Yeah, this last Monday, I met a guy at a restaurant, and he looked at me and he said, "I'm shocked." So I said, "I hope that's a good way." And he said, "Oh yeah, because a lot of people they really don't they just flat don't recognize me because
Wow.
of how much I've changed."
How about your cognitive function? How is your memory, your focus?
I'm more alert. I'm enjoying life. I'm happy, and I said earlier that I think because of my weight, I snore. I was snoring horribly. The kids are on the opposite end of the house, and they told me they could hear me snore. And my wife swore that I had the sleep apnea because she would punch me in the middle of the night and wake me up because she thought I quit breathing. All the snoring and any signs of the sleep apnea are completely gone.
Wow, that's incredible. Has your wife also jumped on board, or is she pretty much eating the same thing?
No, she's still kind of doing what she's done in the past. She's made statements about thinking about doing it, but I think she gets the hardest thing for her is the increased fat intake because people have been so conditioned to eating fat makes you fat.
Mm, good point. Um, yeah, and you just have to, the bottom line is you have to have, does she have a weight problem?
No, she doesn't. It's been me. I'm the one that's had the weight problem so long.
Yeah, and that's just it. It's like unless there's a big reason, usually physically, that a person is motivated, they might not be inclined to jump in, unfortunately. But you're already seeing changes in your blood pressure and your cholesterol values, and obviously your blood sugars as well. So that is just fantastic. I know I saw you before and after. I'm like, wow, that's a huge change. That's amazing.
Yeah. And there's so many little things like I don't have to tilt the steering wheel all the way up anymore, and I can get in and out of the car without tilting the wheel. That's huge right there.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. Um, so now that you've lost the weight and you've done this, you think there's any chance of ever going back to your old ways?
No, no, I have no desire, no incentive. You know, um, why would I go back? All my health has increased. I'm happy now. I enjoy life. Um, People talk about cakes and pies and ice creams and just candy bars, cokes. None of that's appealing to me. I don't have any desire to go back to the old life and the old feeling bad and being heavy. And
Mm-hmm.
I just like my life a lot better now.
That's awesome. One last question. Do you think that it helped in some of the videos that I put out to really understand the why behind what to do, like the why, what you're doing inside your body, understanding insulin? Was that beneficial to really understand that? Versus some people just kind of like, oh yeah, here's what you eat. This is all you're focusing on.
Your videos to me were invaluable. They taught me so much, and like even when you talked about diabetes and talking about ketosis and how to get into ketosis, all those things were I'd highly recommend it to anyone. Yes.
Awesome. This is awesome. Mark, I want to thank you so much for taking time out. I know you're on your lunch break. It's been a great story, and so you're a true success, and I'm really excited for you. So thank you so much for this interview.
Well, I really want to thank you so much for everything that you do. I know you probably get a lot of heat from, the FDA and the medical profession and all that because you're bucking against what they're teaching everybody. And I think you're shedding a lot of light, and people are starting to wake up to it, and I think that's wonderful.
Hey, thanks. That's why I do these Skypes, because no one can argue with success. So if you're getting results, how are they going to attack you, right? Oh,
Exactly.
I help someone. Yeah. So that's awesome. Well, thanks.
You're in my prayers, and I really appreciate everything that you do, Dr. Berg.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Okay, have a good week.
Thank you, sir. God
Okay.
bless you.
Thanks.